Gautreaux. I'm 18 years old and I'm from South Louisiana. Before I share my testimony, I want to share something else with y'all that I wrote down here. So it says, so why do people experience disease and famine? Why do people go through such hurt? Why do some people have cancer and some not? The thing is, I don't know why. No one knows why we experience so much hurt in our lives, but God does. We just have to trust the process that we're going through, that it's all going to work out, and just realize that it's all an attack from the enemy. Meant to bring us down, and sometimes it does, but in the end, it shapes us into a man or woman of God. In the end, it gives us a testimony that God has intended for us to use to bring people out of the dark and into the light. Bring people out of the same exact place we were in and say, no, look, I've been down this road. This is not the route you want to go. And I know someone that restores broken lives, and his name is Jesus. Come on, let me introduce you to him. And in their days, you want a soul to the kingdom. It may seem like it's a long, never-ending road of trouble and hurt, but it will turn out for good. Just lean on God, and just lean on God. He takes what the enemy meant for evil and turns it to good. So, God didn't bring us out of the dark from our addiction and out of our broken lives to have us sit on the bench and not do nothing. He brought us out of the dark to give us a testimony to share to other people that are in the darkness, that like we were at one time, that are in the darkness in the same exact place as us. All these guys got a testimony. Every single one of them, they have a good story. I'm sure they'd be glad to share with y'all. So when y'all go eat with us or whatever, grab one of these guys and get to know their story. They'd be happy to tell y'all. Yeah. I gotta go off the paper. I get too sidetracked. So as a child, growing up, I was raised in a broken home. My mom and dad divorced when I was 5 years old, which forced my mom to make money the easy way. So she started selling Roxy to make money and able to support my brother and I, on top of the money she was making from her job. We had everything we needed growing up and a lot of what we wanted. My dad moved back when I was 8 years old. I held a lot of resentment toward him, and by the time he had moved back, I was already getting in fights at school and causing lots of problems at school. It wasn't long until I finally fell into drug use by the age of 10. I began smoking marijuana. This began down a long road of brokenness. At the age of 12, I was smoking every day and still getting in lots of fights. I then caught my first charges and landed myself in juvie for assault and battery. After I got out of the program they sent me to, I was 13 years old. I then was introduced to Xanax, and 8 months later, landed myself back in jail. And the judge let me go home on house arrest. That still wasn't enough to stop me. I went on to land myself in juvie 5 more times after this. One of the times sitting me down for a year. After I got out of the year sentence, the judge let me go on parole. As soon as I got back home, I went to the same life. I began selling weed again and making a profit. Until the age of 16, I was introduced to Roxy's. And I knew that I had found a new drug of choice, and for 3 months I was strung out to the max. It even led to the point where I messed around with heroin a few times. But the last month of my run, I was staying in and out of hotels until December 11, 2020. My run came to an end. I ended up with SPD knocking on my door and arresting me on gun charges, possession, intent to distribute, etc. I knew I needed a way out, but I wasn't expecting it to happen this way. After sitting 3 months of juvie, God opened the doors for me to come to Teen Challenge. I came into the program March 11, 2020, at the age of 16. Being the youngest person in the program at that time, I didn't want to be there at first. I had started to beat myself up about how I got myself into this mess, but within my first month, I met my Savior, Jesus Christ, and found out that it may not have been orchestrated the way I wanted it to be, but it was orchestrated by God. And He knew what it would take for me to be still and find out my purpose in life. And that is to be obedient to God and His Word, and being the man of God that I am called to be. I am now an intern at Shreveport Teen Challenge, meaning I completed the student phase of the program, and I am now a member of the staff. and I just recently got my charges dropped. They dropped all my charges and gave me 18 months of probation. So that's a praise report for me. Thank y'all for listening.